It's a fact, my friend, that it's easier to tell a story than to live a story. Most people go through life just telling a story. And because of that, they lose moral authority. Because of that, they lose authenticity. Because of that, there's not the core strength of the message within it, because they're telling a story. You see, to tell a story is to be in the second or third person. To live a story is to be in the first person. To live a story is for me to say, this is not only what I'm sharing with you, this is what I have experienced. This is what I've done. This is what I've felt. Because I am in the story. I don't want you ever to read your story. I want you to write your story. I don't ever want somebody else to tell you your story. I want you to flesh out and live your story, because you say it's a beautiful thing once you understand that the only gift that you have to offer others is you. As we're going through this process, that the best you is what the world needs to see. That's what the world needs to hear. And when you are your own enemy and you pull yourself out of the game, you have limiting beliefs about yourself, you just reduced and dumbed down the message that God created you to share. So don't tell your story, live your story. Understand today that the reason you're your worst enemy is because you're the only one that can destroy yourself and not be the person that God created you to become. So instead of that, be your best friend. Begin to embrace, love, care, believe, and build yourself. When you do that, now you're giving the world what the world deserves, the very best you have to offer. If that's who you are and that's where you are right now, kind of thinking that somehow tomorrow has more promise, more benefits, more options to you than today, I can promise you that is very faulty thinking. Today is the same day that somebody yesterday thought would be so great. So you have to understand, you're living in the day that somebody was saying, this will be a great day for me. You see, the promise of tomorrow is very unfulfilling because there's nothing guaranteed about it. The promise of today, it's very fulfilling because you've got it right now. It is in your hands. You can do something about now, right now. In fact, think about it. Now is all you got. You don't have anything else but now. Yesterday's gone. It's a canceled check. Tomorrow's a promissory note. The only thing that you can cash right now is now. What have you been postponing and are thinking about doing tomorrow that you can do right now? Make that call. Tell that person that you love them. You haven't told them for a while. You've kind of been putting it off. Write that note. Go do that errand for a friend. Sit down and have that long conversation. Do it now. Trust me, the most rewarding thing in life is to carpe diem, seize the moment. Why? Because the moment was made for you to seize and to take. Life doesn't give you a series of only good days. It's not the bad day that's so bad. The bad day only is bad when my attitude toward the bad day is bad. Life hits me in reality. Good days, bad days, losses, gains. But it's how I receive them that determines what kind of a day I really have. So the next time you're having a bad day, look at somebody who's really having a bad day. that will give us perspective. That will help us to understand that no matter what we're going through, it could be worse. And no matter what we're going through, we need to rise above what's happening around us and see the big picture. So if you're having a bad day, hey, truthfully, only you can turn it around. There are 3 things that I do that I think are going to be helpful to you if you really want to start executing on ideas. Number 1, write the idea down. And then look at it, because there's something about visually looking at something that is written that kind of lets you know potentially how good it is. But write the idea down. That is first. Number 2, try the idea. I mean, when I say try it, just go out and give it a shot. And it doesn't have to be a dozen tries. Maybe it's just one try, but just go out and say, okay, this is what I was thinking. I'm gonna act on what I was thinking today. Here's where you really execute well. After trying the idea, I call that, there's an expression I use, and that is I call it taking your dog for a walk. After taking your idea for a walk, in other words, what do you do when you take a dog for a walk? Everybody stops, what's its name, pets it, you start talking about your dogs and your pets, and you're getting discussion on taking that dog for a walk. Well, take that idea out there for a walk, try it out, and people are going to let you know whether they think it's good or not, but after a few tries, come back and look at the idea again. Now, not only in light of how you wrote it and what you did with it, but now look and say, how can I improve it? Because what I've discovered is that the first thought is not the best thought. It's just the first thought. Nothing wrong with that, because that's the thought that gets you started. But if your first thought is your best thought, you're not thinking very deep and you're not thinking very long. So you write your first thought down, you go out and try it a little bit, and then you come back and you write it again. I promise you, the second time you write it, it's better than the first time. If it shows promise, go execute on it again. You see, the execution of ideas is a result of writing them down, trying them, rewriting them, trying them, rewriting them, trying them, until you get to where you want to go, or till you get to the place where you say, isn't going to work. I've had both things happen. But I know that ideas get better with trial, error, reflection, and correction. That's what you want to do with ideas. Don't let them die. I promise you, if you don't write them down, if you don't try them out, and if you don't try to upgrade them, you'll lose some of the best potential that you could ever have in your life.